guys, I am so excited for this video because today we are going to be just playing around with some Anna Sui products. Now, I have somehow gotten on the Anna Sui PR list. I don't know how that happened. Actually, I do kind of know how that happened, but it's still just like crazy to me because I would request a lot of things from them from Octoly, and they decided to pull out of Octoly, and they messaged me asking if I wanted to be on their PR list, and I was like, yes, please, like that would be fantastic. So I've gotten a few packages from them. So today we're gonna be playing with a couple of these things, and I'm just so excited. I'm so grateful. I'm so honored to be able to have all of these beautiful products. You can probably tell that I even have some lipsticks on my shelf in the back because I just love the packaging of Anna Sui products so much. So the first things that I wanted to show you is because I talked about these in a separate video, but I have the black powder blushes, so I actually used 2 of them today. I decided to do my face makeup before so I wouldn't have to go back and forth through all of the steps, because one of this is a cream blush and this is the black cream blush. So I did apply this. I will show you applying it because this actually is such a beautiful blush. And you would think looking at it that, oh my god, that's gonna be so scary because it's a black blush, but like when you put it on, it just turns into this beautiful kind of soft, not baby pink, but it's almost like, I wouldn't even know how to explain it. It's just like the perfect pink blush, and I absolutely love it. I always hate when I forget to use this because I just think it's so beautiful. And then on top of that cream blush, after I powdered, I went in with the 301 blush, which is also from the black blush range, but this is a powder blush. And it's just a perfect complement to the cream blush. I just think that they work so well together, and I love the finish of these blushes. They're not super matte, but they're also not like super shiny. They just give a very subtle glowy effect, and I just absolutely love these. I've been using them so much lately. So I do have another product that I kind of want to show you guys that I know I said in the past. I got this from Octoly, and when I reviewed it, I was like, I don't really understand how to use this. And this is the brightening powder. I've kind of been playing around with this a little bit, and I feel like I understand it a little bit better. Like, I would try to set underneath my eyes with this, I would try to kind of highlight with this, and I couldn't really figure out exactly how to use it. So how I've been using this is I've been taking a very, very small kind of highlighting brush, and if I notice that I have a couple of like dark spots underneath my eyes, just like right here maybe, if I'm just not looking, you know, fully awake, I will take a little bit of this and just like dust it right where I feel like I have some darkness. And I just feel like it brightens up. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell the difference, but I feel like in real life you can really see it. And I just feel like, I don't know, it's just a nice little product to have. Like, is it something that I feel like is necessary? Probably not, but I've actually been reaching for it, and I surprised myself when I reached for it the first time because I was like, I never usually notice when I have circles under my eyes because I just don't really care that much. But when I do notice, I tend to reach for this, and I like the results, so I'm happy I have this in my collection. So the products that I want to mainly focus on in this video is their new collection, because I felt like I just wanted to showcase that since they sent me that package. So they sent me 2 of their eyeshadow trios, and they sent me one in the shade 01 and one in 03. So this is the one in 01. So as you can see, this is basically a trio of 3 neutral colors, but it looks in the pan like they are going to be like glittery and such, but when you swatch them out, they're basically just kind of matte satins, if that makes sense. Some of them are a little bit more shimmery than others, but they don't really have any glitter particles in them. And I know I've said in the past that satins are not my favorite eyeshadow formula, which is totally fine because I need to understand that these kind of eyeshadows aren't necessarily targeted towards people like myself, because I feel like the demographic that Anna Sui is trying to reach is more in like the Asian market, and they obviously use different kind of products there. So I'm going to treat these as such. I'm not going to judge these based on how I would judge, you know, a regular eyeshadow palette, because these aren't meant for someone with my makeup style, because this is not how I do my makeup. But I'm really excited to try them still, and maybe try something new that I wouldn't usually do, because this is not the kind of products that I would normally work with. So the other one in here is the 03. This is the one that appeals to me the most because it's a little bit more my kind of colors. And I mean, just look at me. Like, look at my hair. Like, I feel like this shade right here is going to be really, really nice. And also, they do come with a brush, as you can see, which kind of fell out. And I don't think that this is the worst brush in the world. Like, am I going to use this? Probably not, because I have like hundreds of brushes, so I don't need this. But I mean, just this little side right here is like a smudging brush. I feel like that could be really nice underneath the eyes. Like, I'm not hating on this. I mean, would I prefer there not to be a brush in these? Probably, but that's just because I have so many brushes, but I understand that not a lot of people have as many brushes as I do, so that's totally fine. So the other thing that they also sent me are these, they're called the lip colors. I don't exactly know if they have like an actual product name, but here's what they look like. They are super, super cute. I'm really excited about these. I swatched them just so I could like show you the swatches, and that was my first time touching them. And honestly, they kind of feel like sticky lip balms. It's a weird texture. It's not like anything that I've ever tried before. So I'm excited to try these, and I'm going to probably put one on right now because I just want to test them and I want to have something on my lips. So let's see. I think I'm going to go with maybe I'll go with the red one because I feel like the eye look isn't going to look that good with orange no matter what I do. So here's what it looks like after I've put my finger into it. So let me show you a close up here so you can see. So I'm really excited to try this on my lips here because I don't know exactly what to expect. So I'm just going to pick up some on my finger and I'm going to try to put this on. And I don't know if this is going to be like super opaque because in the swatch it seemed like it would be really opaque. Okay, so that's kind of nice. It's almost just like a wash of color. Like I need to be a little bit careful because this color might be a little too dark for me to like apply properly with a finger. So I quite like that. Obviously I can't like overline or do anything crazy, but that's not like the aesthetic of Anna Sui anyway, so I kind of like this. I like that it just darkened my lips a little bit and they actually feel really, really comfortable. It's weird when you put your finger into these because you think that they're going to be really sticky, but then when you put them on and you kind of blend them into your lips, it almost feels like a balm. Like it's a very strange product, but I really like it. It's very interesting, and it also kind of tastes like raspberries. Yeah, they don't really smell like anything, but they taste great, which, I mean, obviously I'm not mad at that. So I think we should go into the eyeshadows now. So I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyes because I have not already done that. And I have a little bit of staining from yesterday, as you can see, so we need to cover that up. So I'm going to use my Natasha Denona eyeshadow primer here. I've been really liking this. I don't know if I would reach for this one over my Smashbox one, but since I'm basically out of my Smashbox one and I'm waiting to do a video comparing these two, like I probably said in like 5 videos now, I'm just going to be using this because I feel like all the eyeshadows that I've tried with this primer has performed really nicely, so I feel like I'll have a good idea of the eyeshadow formulas using this primer. So I think I want to do a quite simple look today, so I'm first going to go into the 03 trio. That's tough to say. I'm gonna pick up the green here on my Sigma E34, which is a kind of small dome brush. I feel like this is going to work very well for kind of buffing out a satin shade. Now, I definitely could have gone ahead and set my primer, but I don't think I want to do that. I'm just gonna go straight in with this color, and I'm going to pack that into my crease basically. I'm gonna keep it low down to start, but I mean, that is very pigmented. That's actually a lot more pigmented than I first expected. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and put that into my crease and start blending this out. Honestly, I could have just put this all over my lid. I don't know. Maybe I'll end up doing that. Maybe I'll do something else. I don't really know, but I mean, I feel like this is going to end up being a very dark look, which I am not mad at all. So I feel like it's showing up a lot more teal on my eyes, and I really like the color of that. I think that's quite beautiful. I almost feel like the colors in these trios are more meant to be for, you know, like an all over shadow look, because that's how the shadow is performing. Like I almost just feel like I want to put this all over and just blend it out because it just seems like the right thing to do, if you know what I mean. Like I don't feel like you're supposed to really fuss with this too much because it is a trio, and I feel like you're supposed to be able to make, you know, eye looks using just the trios, and I feel like with this formula it would just be the perfect thing to do. So I actually think that's what I'm going to do because I just feel like it's the right thing to do. I don't know how else to explain it. So I'm just gonna switch to a bit of a flatter brush here, and I'm going to put this all over my lid, and then I'm going to start blending the edges afterwards. And I might go ahead and like top this with one of the other shimmers in the palettes. We'll see how it goes when I get there, but I mean, this is just going on so beautifully. And I didn't even spray this or anything, and it's just kind of shiny, you know? It does have a little bit of fallout though, but I feel like if I had sprayed this shadow, it definitely wouldn't have, so it's probably mostly on my part. I also could have used some glitter glue or something like that. So I am leaving a bit of room just in my inner corner because I figured I could go in with possibly the silver or something like that. I'm also going to take this down to my lower lash line. I'm just going to keep this as a very, very simple look because I just feel like it's the right thing to do, and it's just what I'm feeling today. So I'm also just taking this brush and I'm using this to blend this out with. This is one of my Cliona brushes. I don't know if it has a number on it, but it's almost like a smudging brush, but it's also sort of flat and fluffy on the edge, and I find it to be perfect to pack and blend at the same time, especially on the lower lash line. And I'm curious to see what would happen if I did spray this shadow, so I'm going to take a little bit more on my brush here, and we're just going to experiment and see what happens, see if maybe there's a little bit more shimmer coming through, or I don't know what's going to happen, so let's find out. So it definitely does have more intensity when you do spray it, and it almost turns into more of a shimmer shadow rather than a satin, so I kind of like that for just like in the middle of my lid here to just bring out this color even more. But it does create a bit of a harsher line where you see the blend here. I'm gonna go in with a bit of a fluffier brush again, the one that I used first, and just buff over the edges here so that we don't have any harsh edges. And I think what I want to do next is, man, I want to use both of these, but I'm really just so drawn to that silver shade. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the silver in this palette here, and I'm going to pop that in my inner corner where I don't have any shadow yet. And this is looking quite glittery when I pick it up on my brush, so I'm curious to see how this is going to look on the eyes. I definitely might want to spray this to make sure I don't get any fallout. Yeah, this is definitely very glittery, so I am going to go ahead and spray this. I feel like this is the kind of shadow that you would use as a topper shade, however, but I'm not going to do that because I just don't want to use this as a topper for the green, because I want the green to be this dark. So I'm just going to go ahead and place this in my inner corner here. So this is definitely a very subtle silver, as you can see. It's really just like very, very finely milled glitter particles. So like I said, I do think this would be better as a topper shade for something else rather than trying to make this pop on its own here. And it's also removing a little bit of that green that I put down at first because I sprayed it, so that might have been a bad choice on my part here. So I'm just going over with a bit more of that green. Like, I feel like these are not really supposed to be used wet, if that makes sense. But of course I need to do the same thing on the other side so we can get the same intensity here. I feel like next time I would probably use a glitter glue with this instead of trying to spray this. So I like how this is looking now, and I will say that even though I haven't used more than 2 shadows, the thing with these is I just feel like they're kind of meant to be more as like a one and done kind of eye look. I feel like with this formula, you're not meant to do like crazy cut creases or very out there looks. Like, you can use one shadow and make a dramatic look with it, but I just don't feel like you're supposed to be over blending these and doing crazy things with them, because when you're using satins like this, they definitely perform better just like on their own or with like 1 or 2 shadows, in my opinion. So I like how this is looking, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish off my eyes, just put on some liner and mascara and stuff like that, and then I'll come back and talk to you a little bit about how I feel about all of the products that I tried today and just my overall thoughts on the brand so far, from like having tried a bigger variety of products from them. So here's the look all done. I used Vaseline by Colourpop, my waterline, and then just some black liner and mascara, and that was it. So as for my thoughts on these products, the eyeshadow palettes aren't really my cup of tea, and not because they're not pigmented or anything, it's just I like to be able to, I don't even know how I would try to explain this, but I just feel like these are meant for people who don't like to spend a lot of time doing their eyeshadows, but they still want to have something that's impactful, if that makes sense. And these are just not my kind of formulas that I tend to gravitate towards. Like, I am very much more like a matte kind of person when it comes to my crease colors and stuff, and I like very intense foiled shimmers on my lid. So this is not for me, but I think that these are for a lot of people, and I feel like they performed well. It's just that they're not the kind of application techniques that I normally use, because I do feel like, especially like the kind of glittery shades, are more meant to be toppers, and I'm not really someone who experiments a lot with toppers, so I don't really know how these are going to work as, you know, how they are intended. So I will say that the eyeshadows are, I mean, obviously the packaging is absolutely beautiful, and I kind of like the color stories too, even though again they're not really for me. I do think this one is beautiful. The other one is definitely a little bit too neutral for me, but I can imagine so many people absolutely loving this and just using one of these all over their lid, being out the door, and just having the most beautiful look, because these are so easy. I mean, they're just super easy to use, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to fuss around, just like throw on one shadow, be out the door, you know? And you guys know that's not really usually my kind of look. So that is why I say that these aren't really meant for someone like myself who really enjoys eyeshadow and who likes to experiment with eyeshadow. Everything else though, I really love. I mean, I'm so impressed by the blushes in particular. I love the blushes, and I think that these lip products are so cool. Like, I could see myself just having this in my purse and especially using these while traveling. Like, if I just want to have a little bit of color on my lips and I want something that's kind of hydrating, but not being like a lip balm and not being lip gloss, but just having something a little bit in between that's still, you know, more makeup-y, then I think these would be great products. I don't know how I would use the yellow one. I'm very curious about this one. I'm gonna have to put this on my lips at some point, but this is really cool as well. And just like all the powder products and everything else, and especially the lip products, I mean, you can see I have them on display, like I said, and the formulas on those is honestly what drew me to the brand in the first place. It was the first thing I ever tried from Anna Sui was their lipsticks, and I just think that they are so good. So honestly, thank you so much to Anna Sui for sending all of these things my way. I am just forever grateful, and it's just been so much fun to test out the brand. It's just so much fun. I don't even know what else to say. I'm so honored, and it's so cool to be able to try out things that I normally probably wouldn't have bought, because these are expensive products, you know? They are luxury products, and usually when I want something luxury and when I'm going to invest my money into something that's so expensive, I want to make sure that it's something I'm going to like. And since I didn't really know about these products, I probably wouldn't have taken that risk, if that makes sense. So I will have all of these products linked down below if you want to go check them out. If not, no worries. I'm just happy you were here watching my video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see some other things that I have on my channel, if you're new for some reason, pop a few up on the screen so you can go check those out. And if you are new to my channel, I would also love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.